Hi guys, and welcome back to Wisdom Wednesday. Last week we talked about the question to ask yourself, and what we really covered there is when you ask your brain a question, your brain automatically responds to it and comes up with a solution. But the key here is when you ask that question is just to stop and actually come up with an answer rather than you just carrying on in your everyday life. Now today I wanted to cover the topic. Now this one, it's so powerful, and it is the thing that will stop you doing most of the things that you want to do in your life, and that is fear. You know guys, I relate a lot of stuff that we do in our everyday lives back to when we were cavemen. This might seem a little bit bizarre, but back then we belonged in a group, and that group was pretty tight, pretty small. If you did something that annoyed that group, you were probably going to be pushed out of the group to give all the resources to the rest of the group. Now what that meant for you is if you get pushed out, you don't have the protection of the band anymore, you're on your own, you have to get your own food, you have to get your own coverage and everything. And do you know what? It probably actually meant death back then. So that is why we have this really strong connection with our team around us. And we don't really like rocking the boat. We don't really like kind of showing off or having shame or any of these other things. And we're fearful of those because in the olden days and what our brains are kind of programmed for, that meant death. So how do we get around this? Well, I've been asking quite a few actor friends what they do. And there's two things in particular that really pop up. And the first one is just to identify, first of all, that you are being fearful. What is it, that really stops you doing your goals? I bet you've got a massive list of goals, but why don't you actually do them? Chances are you're fearful. You're fearful of somebody pointing a finger at you. You're fearful of being shamed for it. You're fearful that someone might take the mick out of it. And remember, all of those things in your brain pretty much means death. So you deal with it. First technique is just to breathe. I've been doing a lot of what's called square breathing recently. I don't know if you've tried this, but it really helped. So you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out to 4, and you hold for 4. And try and go through that cycle 10 times. At the end of it, it allows all of your body systems to readjust and settle down, and then you can carry on with your everyday life. The second one, as we said before, is to identify that fear and actually put it in modern day perspective. Let's think kind of really worst case here. If you do something and everybody takes the mick out of it and you get publicly shamed and it's on Insta and it's on Facebook and it's all over the place, chances are you're still going to be alive nowadays. You're still going to have an income coming in probably. You'll still have a roof over your head. You'll still have some friends. You can carry on with your life. So it's not as bad as what our old kind of prehistoric brains make out. What you do about it afterwards though, once you've identified it, hopefully put it in a bit of perspective that you can carry on. And the third thing is just to make those next goals of how you're going to get back on track. But the chances are, remember, that is so remote of actually happening, but it's such a big fear that it's going to stop you taking actions towards your goals. So the moral of today, guys, is get it in perspective, breathe through it, and do it anyway. Because chances are, if you do stuff and you take action towards your goals, you are going to hit them. It's as simple as that. Now, guys, any comments about today or anything you want me to cover off in the future, by all means, drop me a line. Really hope you enjoy this one again, and looking forward to speaking to you next week. We'll see you soon.
Live. My brothers don't die, we just rusty bark.